XRP tomorrow, we find out. Please read the disclaimer. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. Let's talk about XRP, about the crypto market. Less than 24 hours to go to see what's going to happen with the whole ceasefire situation. Plus, we got some Clarity Act updates that you need to hear. All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile, send out those good vibes, smash that like button, and let's get into it. So actually, I want to start out with a statement from Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, saying, reacting to the statements of Paul Atkins, the SEC chairman, saying the SEC's first mission is to protect investors. Under Gary Gensler, the SEC clearly lost its way. He declared war on technology. It was an unlawful power grab, and the court said as much. By comparison, Paul Atkins is a breath of fresh air and sanity. He's a model of what leadership at the SEC should look like. He's focusing on what matters, protecting investors and fostering innovation that help those investors and the markets. And when you look at a situation like this and where XRP was and where potentially XRP could be, right? And we look at the price action, right now XRP is sitting at $1.44. If you think to yourself, wait a second, XRP, when their court case was still going on and all that, XRP was at 50 cents. So we're only one, it's all not two, right? Because 200%, it's about 180% up since then. Not, huge amount if you think about it in the crypto market, but it is up, of course. And then when you think about the price action right now and everything that's being suppressed in the market, you look at it and you say, wait, it was trading around 50 cents when there's all this uncertainty around it, all this pressure, all this, SEC going after XRP and Ripple. Well, now there's none of that. And initially the price ran up to 331 there, right? That was 360, sorry, was the high. And we've since sold off from there. Now, you ask yourself a question, there's two reasons that we sold off. Did we sell off because there was less, clarity from the SEC? No, right? I actually have more clarity from the SEC. They're the ones that came out blatantly and said that XRP was not a security. So what is there that is bad? Well, there is, of course, the whole crypto market is down. There's less hype from retail investors. There's less hype also from for institutional investors right now just because of the Clarity Act. And so that's where we're sitting right now, where you could quote unquote say that the price is a lot lower than it should be, but this is the price that it is trading at right now. And we have to make a decision for ourselves. Is XRP, in our opinion, expensive or cheap? To relevant to what could potentially be, or on the flip side, in a bad way. So again, as always, I don't know what XRP's price is going to do day to day. Of course, this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. You should always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest and decide, do you think XRP's price is going to go up from here or going to go down? Now, if we're looking in the short term, XRP is very, very close to crossover on the 1348 EMA. If we get any good news in the next 24 hours, we could potentially see XRP move here to the upside and cross over there on the 1348 EMA. We've seen in the past when XRP does that, it has a tendency to give a nice movement after, right? Not every single time, but in the past, you can see even here where it wasn't a huge move, right? When we did have the crossover, XRP went 22% in 7 days. Of course, we've had instances like over here where we did have a crossover, but then we, sold off, right? Maybe there was some bad news or there was something was going on here. I don't even remember specifically. I remember what this is. This is when President Trump tweeted about XRP, and then the next day he gave a clarification why he tweeted about XRP. And of course, it popped up significantly and then sold off. But for the most part, I don't really remember what these run-ups were. I remember this run-up because it was, a long one during the summertime. And I remember just because, we were getting lots of interest in XRP while this was happening. So I remember that was going on. For the most part, you don't really remember what these crossovers were. Right now, I remember because of the current situation. I'll probably remember what was going on here because of the war, because of everything that was going on. And like we talked about a few days ago, Bitcoin and Ethereum already crossed over and they moved up, recovered all the way back to where they were back in March. whereas Solana and XRP, for example, haven't, and they're still lagging a little bit behind where they were in that March high. So it will be very interesting to see what XRP does here over the next coming days. Now, we did get some interesting news. We'll get to the Clarity Act in just a second, but we did get some interesting news here about the roadmap. And so Ripple unveils a multi-phase roadmap to make XRP ledger quantum resistance by 2028. This includes a quantum day contingently planned in collaboration with Project 11 for early testing. So we talked about there's the fear that we could potentially have the quantum break, right, where quantum computers are able to break the RSA cryptography that Bitcoin and Ethereum use. And there's a fear about that those headlines, Bitcoin is not quantum resistant. Well, XRP is moving ahead of this, and they're going to make sure that XRP is quantum resistance, the ledger, by 2028. So it's only a year and a half from now. And so this is an important step because you don't want the quantum computing to outpace you. And so this is very, very important for XRP. Again, maybe Bitcoin and Ethereum aren't, and they have trouble and people don't want to use them. That's going to be great for XRP, right? So this is a very, 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 very important headline. Looks like we have early indication about the Clarity Act of how pivotal this week is going to be. Senator Tillis told Senate Banking Committee Chair the panel should not plan to advance a major crypto bill in April. He says negotiators need time to finalize the bank crypto compromise and stablecoin yield, Tillis says, pointing to potential May markup. And so we're seeing this, that he wants the committee to postpone it a little bit for more time to get a better compromise between the banks and the crypto firms. I don't know how I feel about this. On the one hand, I want the Clarity Act to pass already, but on the other side, I do not want this to get delayed and then potentially not pass, which was, of course, the worst case scenario. And then we move into the summer and there's a delay and all that could potentially happen. So I'm at a point where I just rather it pass than have the best current outcome for the banks and the crypto firms, because if this doesn't pass, it will be very bad for the crypto market. And I know that the crypto firms know this. You're looking at Coinbase. If we go into a crypto winter, that is not good for Coinbase, right? If they have a year now where they're not making profit or they're losing money, that's not good for them, right? So we'll see what potentially will happen. Again, if XRP and we do get the Clarity Act, then I think we might see a major catch up from the crypto market to the rest of the markets. We just saw Russell 2000 hit a new all-time high. US small caps, right? This is what the Russell 2000 is. It was not really doing good, actually, the Russell 2000 for a very long time. And it was able to rally over the past year or so. You can see after 2020 where, the stock market, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, it rallied back significantly. The Russell, it was moving sideways for almost 2-3 years. And now we've had this rally after 2025, with the tariffs, it was able to rally significantly. All the thought was that this would be also what would happen with crypto and with Bitcoin and then with XRP, and that we'd see this similar rally, right? Because low cap companies are high risk too. And so the thinking was, this will, they will go hand in hand, but that hasn't happened yet. And so the thinking now is potentially with Clarity, we could see the crypto market catch up to the M2, to the S&P 500, to the Russell. And so that's what we're looking for going forward. It will be very interesting to see what is happening. And Nick says here from, I think he's from Coin Bureau, right? Yeah, I think so. He says the Clarity Act has until Friday to notice a markup or it's likely slips to May. A deal exists, the crypto side is on board, but banks are now lobbying every banking committee center to reopen the text nobody has even seen publicly. So we'll see what happens with that. Again, I'm optimistic. I want the Clarity Act to pass. I'm optimistic that it will pass, but we know that anything can happen. And we need to be ready for the possibility that Clarity Act does not pass. Okay. So there's a possibility that it does, but we also need to be ready for the possibility that it doesn't. Okay. Very, very important. An update on XRP in Japan. Japan is tokening payments on XRPL. SBI and Tubutop Tours were issuing prepaid payment tokens on the XRP Ledger public blockchain tied to 30 trillion yen market cap. Nice. XRP is going to do this soon. The elastic is being drawn back even further, potentially energy at its finest. So we're continuing to hear good things and good stuff from XRP. We even got another company, BitTrue, also tweeting out XRP with googly eyes, right? After we saw BitMEX and what was the other one? OKX, right? Also tweeted out XRP. And I just saw this from Lark. He says, if you thought XRP hitting Solana was big news, check out your WhatsApp. The recent WXRP launch just sparked a text-to-trade trend. AA bots like Solana Claw now let you swap XRP directly inside your chats. No complex decks or clunky exchange logins required. It's the ultimate shortcut for a busy schedule. The community is already calling a boomer-friendly after Solana's co-founder reacted, but keep your guard up. Scammers are flooding DMs with fake support groups. Trading just got as easy as texting, so don't let that simplicity make you reckless. As always, I wanted to remind you that there's a lot of scammers out there, and remind you that I will never contact you on social media asking you to sign up to anything or send me anything. Anyone that texts you or messages you with my likeness is not me. Those are scammers, those are imposters. Please be very careful out there, okay? We've seen people fall for this in the past. There are probably going to be people that fall for it in the future. All I can do is warn about this almost every single video, and hopefully people watch every video and listen. I think every video I say this, right? It used to be that not every video, and now I say it every video. So if you're receiving weird messages, not from me, but also from someone else, an influencer or someone from your contacts, it suddenly sends you a weird link, don't click on it. Be very careful out there, okay, guys? When times are like this and people start getting restless, they start falling into scams, they start wanting to get to come back, and that's when you make mistakes. So be very, very careful out there, okay? Don't forget to smash the like button. Check out the links in the description down below. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.